Good evening, everybody. How's everyone doing? How's everybody doing? This is Cutler on the Let's Talk the Cutler platform. It is October the 15th. Can you believe we're at the midway part of the month and all is well? All is well. I'm Cutler and we're here on the Let's Talk the Cutler broadcast, October the 15th. And I have about 1,800 seconds to be with you in your living room, your family room, your dining room, your kitchen, in your car if you're listening only if you're if you're driving and you're trying to watch, pull over and be safe. All right. But I'm with you. It's my pleasure to be here with you, and we are chit chatting. We're talking. We're talking about everything that shows up in this book of ours. This book of ours called Billboards to Better: 366 Daily Sources of Motivation and Inspiration Along the Highway of Life. And I am just thrilled about this evening's conversation. Waiting to see who's going to come on in the chat room with me and who's going to be our first LTTC VIPs for the evening. I'm excited about the conversation. As you're coming in the room, go ahead, do me a favor, click a thumbs up. That just makes me feel good about the conversation, but it also lets YouTube know that you like the content of what we are chatting about this evening. So let's chat. I'm with you again for the next 1,800 seconds and counting, and we're going to see what we can talk about and how we can walk into this room one way and leave feeling a little bit better about life and about ourselves and just about who we are, how we present, how we show up, how we be. All right. I want to know, I want to know from you all this evening, have you ever started doing something and you weren't quite sure of what was going on? Have you ever started doing something and you weren't quite sure of how you were going to end it, how it was going to turn out? That's going to be the topic of one of our conversations this evening. And let me just go ahead and acknowledge our LTTC VIPs for the evening. That's Mrs. Annie Cutler, Miss Annie Cutler from North Carolina. That would be my cousin Lady down there in Georgia. It's good to see you all. Devin, it's good to see you too. All right, again, as you're coming in the room, go ahead, right down there. I think it's right down there, and click that thumbs up to show YouTube that you like the content, you enjoy the conversation, and to just let me know that you like our conversations as well. All right, we're waiting to see who our third LTTC VIP is going to be for the evening. I haven't said this in a long time. When you come in the room, don't forget, bring something to drink, bring your tea. You all, listen, you know, if you don't have your book, that's no reason not to join the conversation. You can join the conversation because we can all participate in the conversation, whether we have the book or not. But just in case you don't have the book, why don't you just jump on over there? Not now. Run on over to Amazon.com, pick up the book, or you can go over to my website, www.gbcutler.com, and pick it up. But it's so good to see you all. So the top the VIPs for tonight are Annie Cutler, Audrey Winfrey, and Quanicia Smith. So it's good to see all of you. Sonia, shout out to you too. It's good to see you, my friend. All right, you all, let's go ahead and get started because I said I have 1,800 seconds. You all know those 1,800 seconds, they just whittle down so quickly. So this is Thursday. You know how we do it. We're going to look at our sayings for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then Saturday, all day your way. I hope you all are using these Saturday sayings as a source of motivation, as a source of conversation starters, as a source of pick me up. So just because we're not chatting in this forum, make sure that you still read those sayings, and that way you can, get your own source of motivation, your own source of inspiration, and you can share it with somebody else. All right, Cousin Linda, it's good to see you this evening. I'm just calling names. All right, I'm just calling names because that's what we do. We're family. It is a thankful Thursday, and I'm glad to see everybody. I'm glad to see everybody in the room. I know some people are outside watching, but come on in the room. Come on in and let's chat. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and get started because today is the 14th, it's the 15th, but we're going to read our sources of motivations for the 14th, 15th, and 16th. All right. 14th says, trust you all, hang on. Trusting in riches without trusting in God might make you happy, but it won't make you complete. Trusting in riches without trusting in God might make you happy, but it won't make you complete. You all know I'm just really a faith-based writer and a spiritual writer. It's just a part of who I am. And this particular source is all about evaluating your relationships, plural, but not just relationships, but it's about evaluating the benefits that are derived from the relationship. Because when you think about it, most relationships, except for parent and child or uncle and aunt, those kinds, the blood relationships, most relationships, when you enter them because there is some benefit that you hope to get. There is something that you hope to achieve from the relationship, something you hope to receive, achieve, or derive from the relationship. And of course, I've said this before, but in the legal arena, it's what we call consideration or benefit of the bargain. It's the thing that induces each of us to enter into this relationship. And before the other person can respond, as a matter of fact, if I'm interested in entering the relationship, a business relationship, partnership, whatever it may be, if I'm interested in entering this relationship, even as friend, if I'm interested in entering, then I have to see something. There has to be something that induces me to even extend an offer of friendship. By the same token, before you respond, you're going to take a look to see what's in it for me. Am I going to get something out of this? And honestly, there is nothing wrong with doing this, because what it does, it helps to know the value of the relationship. And when you re-examine and when you re-evaluate, it helps us to determine. In fact, when you go into the relationship, it helps you to determine the possible longevity. If there's a lot of value in the relationship or in the inducement, then you think, you know what, this is a relationship worth having. It is a relationship worth working for. It is a relationship worth fighting for. It is a relationship worth holding on to. And so you think about the possible longevity of the relationship based on the perceived value that each of you can get. I'm going somewhere, I promise you I am. So then, when you think about the possible longevity and the possible value of the relationship, there is nothing wrong with that. And sometimes we have to re-examine and re-evaluate the relationship to say, you know what? Let me make sure that I didn't lose sight of what was valuable. Let me make sure I didn't lose sight of what was important. And it is okay to evaluate, to reevaluate, and to revisit the thing that makes your relationship worthwhile. You know what makes your relationship important, what makes it worthwhile, and there's nothing wrong with reevaluating. But at some point, I think this conversation is getting ready to shift, because at some point, when you assess the value of the relationship, what should be most important is not what the other person gives, but who the other person is. And that has to be the shift in the evaluation and the re-evaluation of a relationship. It is no longer what the other person gives or what the other person does, but it's not the what, but it's the who the person is. I don't know about you all, but for me, sometimes it is very exhausting. It's very exhausting when the only thing that I'm ever asked in a relationship is to do something. Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you help me with this? Can you write this? Can you read this? Can you call this person? Can you do? I mean, really, it's not all about what an individual can do, but the relationship is really built on who the individual is. And the only time, isn't it sad that sometimes the only time we hear from some people is when they want something from us? Are any of you, am I the only one who has that experience? Sometimes the only time you hear from people is when they want you to do something. You haven't heard from them for 2 years, and then all of a sudden they will call you and ask for a favor. They will call and they'll ask for a favor. Wouldn't you feel better? Wouldn't you feel better if, rather than seeking your hand, sometimes people would just seek your heart? They would just seek your heart. They would seek the essence of who you are, your personality, your soul, your witty disposition. I know we are in the middle of a health pandemic and that we're in the middle of this health crisis, but wouldn't it make you feel good if sometimes people would just call you or send you a message and say, I just wanted to hear your voice. Or they would contact you via one of these video conferences and say, I just wanted to see your face. I don't want you to do anything. I just wanted to contact you. Did I say contact you? And they would say, I just wanted to contact you. I just wanted to see your face. I just wanted to hear your voice. That's all. That is all. And is that asking too much? For people, for people to value who you are and not what you can do. Well, here we go, another shift, you all. It is the same way in our spiritual relationship. You can't be in it. You cannot be in a spiritual relationship. I told you all, I speak holistically to the whole person. And why? Because I only have 1,800 seconds with you in your living room, your dining room, wherever we are. And so I want to make sure, you all, that it is the same way with our spiritual relationship. You cannot be in it. You cannot be in it. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, everybody. You cannot be in any relationship, and especially a spiritual relationship. I'm not in it just for the fish and the loaves. I'm not in it just for the houses and the land and the car, the jobs and the promotion, the prosperity. And guess what? All of that is good. I'm talking about being holistic and spiritually whole in our relationships. The same way that we look at our natural relationships, I'm talking about that with our spiritual relationships this evening because we want to be holistic persons. Holistic is one word. I just, me and my Southern twang, I just drew that word right on out. But we want to be holistic, you all. Don't be in it just for the fishes and the loaves. Don't be in it just for the prosperity of it all. The prosperity is good. We all want the prosperity. I know I certainly do. I want the prosperity of it all. But guess what? I'm not in it just for the cars and the houses and the land. Absolutely not. All that is good. But if the basis of your relationship, if the basis of any of your relationship is just the things, guess what? Your relationship lacks stability. If the basis of your relationship is just built on things, then your relationship, my friend, lacks stability. Whenever, listen, whenever the gift is more important than the giver, that is the kind of relationship that will crumble and fall. When the presence, presence, becomes more important than the presence, presence, of another person, the presence, the things can't be more important than the presence of a person. I'm telling you all, I'm telling you, when the what is more important than the who, your relationship is prone to crumble. And when the quantity of your possession become more important than the quality of the person, guess what? You can call the relationship over. It is the same way. It is the same way in a spiritual relationship. This quote says, trusting in riches without trusting in God, it might make you happy, but it will not make you complete. And I know a lot of us say, ha 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 ha, I'd like to be happy. But you know what? At the conclusion of the whole matter, you want to be a whole, complete, total person. And a whole, complete, total person values the person with whom they are in a relationship. It is the same way. You cannot appreciate the gift more than the giver. Absolutely not. You cannot appreciate the what more than the who. You can't appreciate the quantity of possessions over the quality of the person. Why? What are you saying tonight, Cutler? What I'm saying is this. Here's a free one for you. Tangible stuff will never satisfy an intangible need. Tangible stuff will never satisfy an intangible need. And I'm telling you all this, so you can that one you can take to the bank and cash it. We're looking for tangible stuff. We do the same thing to God that we do to people in relationships, and we're looking for stuff to satisfy, tangible stuff to satisfy an intangible need. No, you can't do that. If you have not hit the thumbs up button, make sure that you go ahead and do that because we're talking some good stuff tonight. I'm just trying to save your life. All right. And I'm telling you, even with God, guess what? I'm in this relationship with God, not because of what he can give me, but because he loves me. All right, you all, I only have 1,800 seconds. I don't have any time to waste. I'm not going to waste our time here tonight. Let's go on over to October the 15th, which is today. Hey, if you all don't have this book, make sure you run and get it. It's on Amazon.com. All right, listen, our source of motivation for October 15th says this. I really love this one. I take it to heart, you all. Don't get paralyzed just because you don't know the plan. Keep marching even in the face of uncertainty. Even if you don't know the plan, don't get paralyzed. Just keep marching, even in the face of uncertainty. You all know I am from the country. Not only am I from the South, but I'm from the country in the South. And we have some sayings for you. Have you all ever heard of something like this? Oh, it'll come to you. I'm telling you all. I remember my great great grandmother. So I remember 4 generations ahead of me, and we would say some stuff like, "Oh, it'll come to you," or "It'll make sense later." Or here's one that I used to hear. I think it's an old song. We'll understand it better by and by. Have you all ever heard any of those sayings? They're good country sayings. And this means that we don't always see the whole picture. I want to inspire and encourage you all tonight. We don't always see the whole picture, you all. We're not always given the whole plan. We're not. But that is no reason to get paralyzed. That is no reason to stop in your tracks. Keep walking, even though you don't have the whole plan. Keep doing what you do, even though you don't see the whole picture. I'm telling you all this. I'm telling you, just because I don't know how the conversation is going to close, that doesn't stop me from talking. Just because I don't know how the book is going to end, that doesn't stop me from reading or writing it. I'm telling you all, just because I don't know how the movie is going to conclude, that does not stop me from watching it. And just because I don't know how my path is going to end, that doesn't stop me from doing it, especially when I feel a call to do what I'm doing. I'm telling y'all, it is the same with many of you all have been watching. You know my story. Just because you don't know whether a book is going to reach somebody or not, you don't stop writing. I wrote this book thinking that I had all this inspiration. I wrote this one thinking I had all this inspiration to write the book, and I know I did. And I'm thinking if I have this inspiration to write the book, then surely there has to be an audience. But you all know, some of you all know, in the middle of having obligations and assignments and places where I should have shown up or could have shown up, I broke my foot and I had to cancel my engagements. But guess what? I didn't know the whole story. When I felt inspired to write this book, I was thinking, no, my experience with this one was enough. And now I feel inspired to write this. I didn't know how I would get an audience, you all, but guess what? Oh my God, I'm really feeling inspired. I didn't know how I would get an audience, but I kept on writing. That didn't stop me from writing. And look what is happening. You, my friends, and my family, you all are here. You are here on this platform. So I'm telling you, just because you don't know how it's going to turn out, don't you let that stop you from doing what you feel that you've been called to do. It is the same way in life. I don't know what detours I'm going to encounter. I don't know what roadblocks are going to be set up. I don't know what traffic jams I might run into, but that doesn't stop me from getting on the highway, and don't you let it stop you either. You might not know about the roadblocks and the detours and the traffic jams. No, you may not know, but do not, when you feel the sense of doing something that's noble and worthwhile, don't you all let it stop you. Don't let it stop you. I tell you all know I take a lot of analogies and examples from the Bible. And let me just share this one. When Jesus died and they put him in the grave, that these women went to anoint his body. They went to anoint his body because it was just their custom. Now, these women knew that a whole big stone was placed in front of the tomb. And they went to the tomb not knowing how were they going to how they were going to roll that stone away. But they kept going anyhow. What am I saying to my friends here on the Let's Talk with Cutler platform? I'm saying to you all, there are lots of stones in our lives, and we don't know how we're going to roll them away. In fact, we think we have to do the rolling, but it's part of the process. It's part of the process, you all. You don't have to roll every stone that shows up in your life, but you keep going, doing what you know is right, what is good, what is noble, what's pure, and what you feel that you have been called to do. Keep doing it. You don't know how you're going to roll the stone away, but don't let that stop you. It's just a part of the process. It is a part of the process. You all, whenever you plant an apple tree, you don't know whether the apple tree is going to live or die, whether it's going to produce fruit or not. But don't let that stop you from planting the apple tree. I planted a grapevine in my yard. I didn't know whether it was going to be 1, 2, or 3 years before the grapes showed up. But guess what? I planted the grapevine and I tend to it every year. Have grapes shown up? Absolutely not. They haven't shown up, but that does not stop me from tending to the vine. Don't you let it stop you just because that you all be encouraged, be inspired. Don't let it stop you just because you don't know the whole story. Don't let it, it's just a part of the process. It is just a part of the process. And there are some stones in your life that you will not have to roll away because God will roll them away for you. I didn't intend to go there, but I'm telling you all this. You get on the road and keep walking. You keep you all listen, revival mode almost. You keep walking and leave the stones up to God. Mm, mm. I hope you all are feeling motivated and inspired. There's some stones in your life that you just keep walking and leave the stones up to God. Thank you. Tend to the vine and the grapes will show up. Tend to the vine and the grapes will show up. When you feel a calling, just keep going. Get on the road and keep going. Let me just give you this one I'm giving you for free tonight. You all, you know how we do. I only got 1,800 seconds, got to make it count. And I'm saying this to you. Don't you let not knowing keep you from not going. Let me say it again. Don't you let not knowing keep you from not going. I'm telling you, uncertainty is no match for ordered steps. When your steps have been ordered, uncertainty is no match for ordered steps. You keep going. Keep going knowing that your steps have been ordered. And if a roadblock shows up, God will take care of the roadblock. If a detour shows up, God will take care of the detour. If a traffic jam shows up, God will take care of the traffic jam. You keep going. Keep going, you all. No matter what, you keep going. They kept going to the grave, didn't know how they were going to unroll that stone away. But guess what? An angel had rolled it away, and there are angels in your life. All right? There are angels in your. You all keep going. I only. I don't have a lot of time left. I only have 1,800 seconds, and I got to make this count, you all. I have to make it count. But I'm speaking to you all from my heart. This is my life story. This is how I'm sharing with you all, my family and my friends. I'm telling you all, this is what I do in my own life. I do the same thing. I don't know how everything is going to turn out. I don't know the whole plan and I don't always see the whole picture, but I trust the whole God. All right. All right. Let's go on to October 16th. Let's go to October 16th. All right. Because we only have a few more seconds and I've got to make it count. And again, if you haven't done so, please go ahead and click on that thumbs up below. Click on that thumbs up. October the 16th, our source of motivation says this: God wants to hear from you again. It is simple, it is powerful. God wants to hear from you again. And I will tell you this is about taking the time to renew your faith and your foundation. And of course, I'll wrap the spiritual element in just a moment. But within the context of life itself, within the context of life in general, who we are, how we show up, how we be, how we present ourselves, all of that is based on some principles, it's based on some values, and these lessons came from somebody. And for some of us, you all, for some of us, we have lost sight of those principles, we have lost sight of those values, we have lost sight of those lessons, and we have lost sight of the shoulders that we stand on. We've lost sight of the principles that shape our character. May I share with you that every day when I wake up, every day when I wake up, I'm keenly aware on whose shoulders I stand. Every day I'm reminded that I stand on the shoulders of a man who was 4 feet 10 inches tall, who was the son of a slave, but who reminded his children and his grandchildren and his great grandchildren, put your trust in the old master and he'll take care of you. I stand on his shoulders. That's on my maternal side, on my mother's side. On my father's side, I stand on the shoulders of a man whose mother was too white to be black and too black to be white. But he reminded his children that whatever you do in life, make sure God is somewhere at the center. I stand on those shoulders. And those are the principles that I have to visit. Those are the lessons that I sometimes have to visit. That's the foundation that I sometimes have to revisit. And for some of us, we have to renew the faith that once sustained us. Do you not know that faith is the thing that helps us get through this life? It helps us to navigate through life. It is the stuff that helps us to traverse the terrain of the unknown. It is the stuff, it is the thing that anchors our heart during these crazy, unpredictable times, you all. Faith is the thing that helps us to make it through the darkness. It really is. It really, really is. And for some of us, I'm telling you all, this is what I know to be true. Life can happen so rapidly and so tumultuously until the things that were once important to us will begin to seep out of us and they will get away from us and they will cause us to lose our voice. And no, your voice is not just the thing that allows you to speak those things that are not as though they were. Yeah, that's wonderful and that's good. But that's not the voice that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the voice where you articulate with your tongue, not the voice that says, oh, you know what? I can speak to the mountain and talk. No, no, no. That's just not the voice that I'm talking about. Not just the voice that allows you to speak, but let's not lose sight. When I say, let's not let our voice seep away and get away from us. But your voice is the very thing that connects you to the source that is greater than you are. It comes from your soul. And whenever there's a hole in your soul, your voice seeps out and your voice slips away, you all. And I know how this world is looking, but I'm telling you this, with all of its sham and with all of its drudgery, all that we see going on, don't lose your voice. Do not, do not lose your voice in the midst of all that's going on. God gave you that voice. He made that voice. He knows that voice. And yes, he wants to hear that voice again. And it doesn't matter. Do you not know that there is nothing that you can do that would, we are really in revival mode tonight, but there is nothing that you can do that would cause God not to want to hear your voice. Peter denied him and Jesus went to the grave. And even after his resurrection, the angel said to Mary, he wants to see his disciples, and especially that one called Peter. There is nothing that you can do that is so bad that will eliminate you from the master, the creator wanting to hear your voice. You are nothing, absolutely nothing. And listen to me clearly. I'm telling you, I only have a few seconds left. Your dreams want to hear your voice again. Your hope wants to hear your voice again. Your ambitions want to hear your voice again. Your principles want to hear your voice again. Your values, your standards, and yes, even your God wants to hear your voice again and again and again and again, you all. Be encouraged. You have a voice. God wants to hear it again. And so I want to close. I want to close like this. I want to share this poem, another poem with you, because sometimes life is dark. Life gets dark sometimes, and we wonder, how am I going to make it? But I'm telling you this, with your voice, call him up, with your voice, with your faith, with your principles, with all of those things, you can see in the dark. I wrote a poem. It is in this book, Thoughts Keep Flowing. The title of it is, I Can See in the Dark. Let me end by sharing this with you. Don't turn on the lights. I can see in the dark. B flat and C sharp. I see the vapor of your breath, the shadow of your thighs, and the white of your eyes. I can see the white full moon, the glistening evening dew, still and true. I see truth and deceit, mysteries and lies, things. I despise figures that won't dance, melodies that won't sing, bells that won't ring. In the dark, I see the basis of all that is ours, hers, and his. I see all that causes me to be, darkness that leads to light, what separates day from night, night where dreams are made, where kindness is mean and visions are seen. It's a wonderful thing. Don't turn on the lights. I can see in the dark. It has been my pleasure to be with you all this evening, this Thursday evening, October the 15th, you all. This is Cutler on the Let's Talk to Cutler platform. We've been here for 1800 seconds, and I hope you feel better as we leave the room than we did when we came in the room, because this is what we do. Until the next time we get together, make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. But until we get together again, keep your heads up, keep your hopes up. Let's keep on building community. Let's keep maintaining connectivity. Stay safe, stay sane, have an absolutely fantastic weekend. Be safe and be blessed. God wants to hear your voice again. Don't you stop just because you don't know. And don't trust in just the thing, but make sure you trust in the person as well. Don't put the gift above the giver. You all have a great weekend. And will be right back here next week, 8 o'clock, Tuesday and Thursday. Until then, you all take care.